Imagine driving in 1905. No highways. No roadside assistance. No mobile phones. You're miles away from the nearest town, and suddenly, bang! Your tire explodes. Now you're stranded. Alone. In the dust. Early cars weren't just uncomfortable, they were unreliable. Flat tires were common. Roads were rough. Rubber was weak. So here's the real question. Who first decided a car should carry its own backup wheel, just in case? And why don't we even remember their name? Welcome to Simply Curious. Today, we're uncovering the forgotten story behind one of the most ordinary, yet life-saving, inventions in automotive history, the spare tire. It's something we barely think about, until we desperately need it. If you enjoy discovering the hidden logic behind everyday things, like, share, and subscribe, because today's story begins in the chaos of early motoring. When driving was a risky gamble. In the early 1900s, cars were still experimental machines. Brands like Ford Motor Company were just beginning mass production. Roads were not paved. They were dirt, gravel, mud. Sharp stones were everywhere. Tires back then were thin and fragile. Blowouts weren't rare, they were expected. Drivers carried toolkits because punctures happened constantly. Changing a tire could take over an hour. Psychologically, this created a constant background anxiety. Imagine driving while expecting something to go wrong. Early motorists didn't just drive. They prepared for survival. But at first, there was no spare tire. The man who solved the flat tire problem. There isn't one single dramatic, eureka, moment recorded in history. But credit is often linked to early automotive pioneers and engineers around 1904 to 1905, particularly within companies like Cadillac and later Ford Motor Company. As detachable rims were developed, the idea became simple. Instead of repairing a puncture on the roadside, why not carry a fully inflated extra wheel? This sounds obvious today. But at the time, it required engineering changes. Stronger mounts. Side brackets. Rear storage designs. By 1909, cars like the Ford Model T commonly featured externally mounted spare tires. And just like that, a new standard was born. Not glamorous. Not dramatic. But revolutionary. Why the spare tire changed everything. The spare tire did more than solve inconvenience. It gave drivers psychological security. There's a concept in behavioral psychology called the safety buffer effect. When humans know they have a backup plan, their stress drops significantly. The spare tire became that buffer. Suddenly, long-distance travel felt possible. Road trips expanded. Confidence increased. It wasn't just about rubber. It was about freedom. The presence of a spare made drivers feel in control, even on unpredictable roads. And that changed how people viewed automobiles forever. The golden age of the spare tire. By the 1920s and 1930s, spare tires were standard. They were mounted. On the back. On the sides. Sometimes even in pairs. Designs became stylish. Some luxury cars integrated them into bodywork for aesthetics. The spare tire wasn't just functional, it became part of a car's identity. For nearly a century, every driver expected one. It symbolized preparedness. But then something shifted. Why spare tires are disappearing today? Ironically, the invention that solved a major problem is now fading away. Modern cars increasingly remove spare tires to reduce weight, improve fuel efficiency, cut manufacturing costs. Instead, companies offer tire repair kits, run flat tires, roadside assistance memberships. The logic is economic. But psychologically? Many drivers feel uneasy when they discover there's no spare in the trunk. That feeling tells us something important. We don't just want solutions. We want reassurance. The spare tire was reassurance on wheels. The forgotten inventor problem. Here's the surprising truth. The spare tire doesn't belong to one famous inventor. It evolved quietly. Engineers improved rims. Companies added mounts. Drivers demanded reliability. And because it was practical, not flashy, history forgot the individuals behind it. Some inventions win headlines. Others simply make life safer and disappear into normality. The spare tire was one of those inventions. Next time you see a spare tire, or notice that it's missing, remember. It wasn't just an accessory. It was a response to fear. A solution to uncertainty. A symbol of backup when things go wrong. And maybe the most powerful inventions aren't the ones that impress us, but the ones that quietly protect us. This was Simply Curious. Now I have a question for you. Did you already know the spare tire didn't have one single inventor? Or did you always assume one genius created it? Let me know below. And stay curious.